war crimes trials came out of it. The most significant part was, from the point of view of the future of Haiti, was to kick out the parliament. The parliament was driven out at gunpoint by the Marines, and the reason was they refused to accept what was called here progressive legislation, a new constitution written in the United States. Franklin Delano Roosevelt actually took credit for writing it, whether truly or not. The new constitution included provisions for American corporations to buy up Haitian land. And that was regarded as very progressive on good, solid economic theory. Haiti obviously needed American investment, and you couldn't expect American investors to put their money in Haiti unless they owned it. So the only way to develop Haiti was to allow American corporations to buy it up. And since the Haitians, niggers talking French, as William Jennings Bryan ridiculed them, since they didn't understand complicated ideas like this, he had to disband the parliament at gunpoint. And then the Marines did run a referendum. 5% of the population participated, and the U.S. Constitution won 99.9% of the vote, so it was all Democratic. Recall Wilson's the great exponent of democracy and freedom. The 5% who voted are the wealthy elite. There is a mulatto white elite which has devastated Haiti. It's it's all over Latin America. You have the same plague, rich societies, lots of resources, terrible misery, mass misery, but a small sector of concentrated wealth and power, which tends to be white or mulatto, mixed white, sometimes pure white. That's all over the hemisphere. Haiti was maybe worse than anywhere. So they voted in the Constitution. They made out fine, as they usually do. This allowed the opportunity for U.S. corporations to essentially restore something like a plantation society. The effects were, as before, to drive lots of the population off the land. The U.S. left both countries, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, in the hands of brutal, vicious National Guards trained by the Marines. The benefactor of the country in the Dominican Republic was Trujillo, a great friend of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, among others, a murderous killer. But Haiti was much worse. It goes on to the Duvalier dictatorships. Finally, we get to the 1980s. Meanwhile, the same policies are being continued. In the 1980s, it got much worse again. More progressive economic theory was introduced. The World Bank and the U.S. aid devised a program to turn Haiti into what they called the Taiwan of the Caribbean, a flourishing, developed society. And the way they were going to do it was by following policies which happened to be the exact opposite of what Taiwan did. Taiwan became Taiwan because they disregarded the advice from the World Bank and the Western economists and so on, just as every developed society has done without exception, including the United States. So they disregarded it. Taiwan developed a distributed light industry throughout the country, which led to centers of economic development, which then grew and finally developed into a very advanced industrial society. In fact, most of the high technology in China comes from Taiwan, and also Japan and South Korea, but primarily Taiwan. Meanwhile, Haiti stayed Haiti because they followed the advice. They had to. It was at gunpoint. So they followed the World Bank, U.S. Treasury, U.S. aid advice, which was to drive the population from the countryside even more so than before into the cities, where they could pursue their comparative advantage, which was working in assembly plants, U.S.-owned assembly plants, stitching baseballs, making textiles. horrifying conditions, mostly women. The countryside was again largely emptied. The provisions required that Haiti cut back its expenditures for education and for social services and for public infrastructure, because economic theory explains that that's a waste. You have to devote resources to export-oriented production. They can't produce their own rice because U.S. subsidized rice is much better. Haiti, the Haitian rural economy is largely based on pigs, but USAID decided that their pigs were no good. They had to kill off all the pigs, 100% of them. That's a substantial basis for the peasant society, even culturally. They were a means of exchange and so on. And they introduced Iowa pigs, sophisticated pigs. To take care of an Iowa pig requires more money than a Haitian peasant can make in 10 years. So the Iowa pigs died off and the Haitian pigs were gone. And other progressive measures like that were undertaken, in fact imposed at gunpoint. There were also political developments in 1986, I guess it was. There was actually an election, and Baby Doc, the second of the Duvaliers, won the election with 99.98% of the vote. It was almost as good as Wilson's election, not quite. Wilson had 99.9%. The Reagan administration was very enthusiastic. It spoke of democratic developments in Haiti, so therefore we have to give the military junta more military aid and so on. Well, this went on right through the 80s. Again, driving people off the land into the cities, laying the basis for the catastrophes that we see. This had been going on since the French. In 1990, Haitians committed a major crime which required serious punishment. There was a free election, and they voted the wrong way. And you don't do that. If you want to know what happens when you do that, ask the people in Gaza. Voting the wrong way in a free election is a major crime. And there's a solution for it. You have to punish the population. In Haiti, nobody was paying any attention in Haiti to what was happening in the hills and in the slums. But in fact, there was a lot of grassroots organizing going on. And to everybody's amazement, they actually won the election with 2/3 of the vote, voting in a populist priest, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. The Americans had a candidate, Marc Bazin, a World Bank official. He got 14% of the vote. The U.S. immediately turned to shifting its aid to Haiti to the opposition, to the business-led opposition, the white mulatto business-led opposition, to try to lay the basis for overthrowing the government. And what made the crime even worse was that Aristide's policies were successful, in fact recognized as successful by the IMF and the Inter-American Development Bank and others, who praised his steps towards reducing the stifling bureaucracy, towards putting the social spending which was required and so on. And it really looked for a little while as if Haiti might not only become free and democratic, which is bad enough, but it might fall out of U.S. hands, which is even worse. Well, the expected military coup took place 7 months after Aristide's election. The Organization of American States imposed an embargo. The U.S. technically joined the embargo, but within about a few weeks, George Bush, #1, he was president then, he modified the terms of the embargo. He carried out something that the New York Times praised as fine-tuning the embargo for the benefit of the Haitian people. The fine-tuning was to allow U.S. corporations to violate the embargo. Great for the Haitian people, but it's a usual kind of progressive action that's taken, praised. So the embargo was undermined right away. The trade with Haiti increased, in fact. the members of the elite who were, the rich elite who were closely involved with the military junta. They were freely shopping in Miami, enjoying themselves, making a lot of money. Technically, the Bush and then later Clinton issued a presidential directive, blocking oil shipments to the military junta. I happened to be there at the time in 1993. It was a horrible terror, hideous terror, thousands of people killed, murders. I was there right in the middle of it. And, you could see the oil farms being built in Port-au-Prince, but the CIA was reporting to Congress that all oil shipments had been stopped thanks to the presidential directive.